Welcome to 9 Times. My name is Garrett, and I'm creating my own fictional world. This time, continuing to build the desert area. We've pretty much covered all of the huge monsters that live in this biome for now. Next, I wanted to start exploring some of the towns in that region. One of the signature locations here is a large area that consists of many very deep ravines that are basically dry mud cracks, but on a very large scale. To escape the constant threat of the giant creatures in the area, some people have built outposts and towns along the inner walls of some of these cracks. I'm going to be focusing on one of those cliffside towns. I always have a tendency to plan things out in detail, so I started drawing a map of the place by considering things that the average real-world town would need, such as a marketplace, blacksmith, police department, bank, tavern, and so on. I soon realized mapping it all in one go would be too overwhelming, so I decided to just start building piece by piece, at the beginning, like everything else. The beginning, in this case, is the entrance. There are several things to consider here. The town will be accessed from above, so let's say an elevator. That elevator has to have a defense from the monsters roaming around, and it should be large enough to accommodate moving goods, people, and animals in and out of the town. Something I realized in the process of designing this entrance is that the perspective tool in Clip Studio Paint is really fun to mess around. Here I started using a 3-point perspective to just get some ideas out there. The time lapse is pretty messy because I didn't have a plan going in. It started out as a square in the ground, right next to the edge of the cliff. A set of stairs is descending a little ways down. I guess the thought was for the whole room to be the elevator, but then I realized the proportions were a bit off for what I needed. If those are normal sized steps, the thing is way too small for a whole town. I changed the point of view to get a little more detailed, so this is looking at it from the inside of the canyon instead of above. I wanted the elevator to be open air, so I cut out the front wall. The square shape crossed over into this drawing as well, with a cable on each of the 4 corners and a guardrail all around. Again, the thought of size and occupancy came up, so I decided to make it into 3 elevators. The big square one in the middle with 2 rectangles on each side. My thought there is the 2 smaller ones could be reserved for people when the square is being used for large objects. 3 makes more sense anyways. If the single elevator breaks down, nobody's going anywhere, especially if they aren't comfortable on a ladder that far up. I like where this is going, so let's clean up the idea. I'll do that by drawing it in a top-down blueprint view and continuing to brainstorm from there. Starting with the 3 elevators, I added gates to them and a rectangular room surrounding half of them. Kept it pretty basic from there, putting the stairs and a ramp north of that, with some small rooms next to them that I figured could be small guard shacks or something similar. With that done, I brought it into Affinity Designer to make everything straight and symmetrical like this. The next step was to go back into Clip Studio Paint to lay out the image and use that to create my perspective guidelines in order to build this thing. I again went for a point of view above the canyon. I just wanted to keep it basic for now and get something done on paper. I can put a bunch of details in another video if I illustrate a scene here. Let me know what kind of features and buildings I should add to the town as I go. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.